Uncle Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, even when they probably shouldn't. Sorry, we've just had to shoo away 2 of our players because of health issues, and one, poor Harry, is still internetless beyond his phone, and again, we're not making him do this shit on mobile internet because that should be expensive. So yeah, we're kind of an abbreviated party, but we can work with this. We can work with this. That's RP like that sometimes. Previously, they, owing to being stranded because an ice drake ate their horse, the Cupcake Coterie stopped at a farm largely devoted to Baronsvere's wheat, and had themselves a little bit of a bargaining. One really good horse for an introduction for their half-eladrin daughter to the Egref apprenticeship programs. There was some inter-party issues, which mostly got resolved. And Alisaie's back anyway, so that's something. Maybe, probably. Everybody else seems happy with it, so fuck it. Remy and Alisaie returned from their time out in the snows, covered in blood that's most entirely ice drake in Remy's case, mostly ice drake in Alisaie's case, but wounds are closed, so all is good. We're fine. And after the ending of the snowball fight, which came from death from above, everybody went back inside to where Melissa was bringing out tea and cookies, which Flitty is happily already munching on. Basically, they brought out the smallest plate they could find with a single cookie cut up into Flitty-sized pieces. You're just sitting on the plate, munch, kind of like a squirrel.
As everybody comes in, Darvin kind of looks like he wants to say something, but is like later. Turns looking at Alisaie, is like later.
Basically grabs him by the collar. How about no? I've had enough stress today.
Okay. Drink.
One thing that I've been learning, we need to talk, is open doorway for stress. We don't need any more of that right now.
Okay. Well, just around the. I just keep it simple. Welcome back. You were missed. We'll deal with Nye.
Well,
your family, and if for whatever reason you need to go at any point, you're still family. I'll leave it at that.
I'm not going to address any of that out of respect for the fact that you clearly don't want me to. As far as Nye goes, there's one thing I'm starting basically right the fuck now. I'm not calling him Nye anymore. Nine Yar means he who laments. Lamentation should not be his only identity. There's a word, I'm not great at Elvish, but I know a bit. There's a word, Aaron, just means forest. I'm calling him that from now on, and I'm going to explain to him exactly why. Just so you're aware, because, I mean, it's going to sound weird probably, but it's not like I've forgotten him or But just so you know, I've got things in mind. I don't know if he's going to take it to heart, but somebody's got to start somewhere. And pulling lamentation out of his identity has got to be a start. He chose that name, so he can't be that attached to it, or he shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a very good point. I'll start calling him that too.
You should probably get that better than anybody. Well, you and me both thinking about it. My last name.
Yeah, good point.
I didn't want fear in it anymore.
No, I agree, and I'll take that up too.
Well, we'll run it past him and see what he thinks, really.
Yep.
And he's probably going to get very awkward about it, but...
Of course, well,
the
guy gets awkward about breathing, so...
Just so you know, they're outside, probably on the porch, because I think I think Darvin wanted a quiet one-on-one word, because, sorry, I've got... reacting to Nom's reacting. Good on the reacting, but bad on the keeping track of where characters are.
That's fair.
But don't worry, that one's gonna come up in person. It's just Alice A knows that Darvin sometimes just needs the information right the fuck then. She knows him pretty well. Yeah. And
Darvin's actually getting the handle of Alice, hence the no hugging.
To be fair, though, it's like... Actually thinking about it. Incidentally, I could see the look and some of the posture. There was a hugging window. Ava made it through that window. And walks back into the house. Come on, you're gonna get cold.
It's dry out here.
They're just grabbed by the front of the cloak. Yoink! Sits there. Up there is apparently tea and a cookie. Oh, God, Flitty. Is it conceivably possible for you to get more adorable? Is to look forward to?
I think he's just going to continue to get adorable until he reaches an adorable singularity.
That's a lot of big words.
You got Flitty going, I don't know what that means, but as long as everybody's happy, I don't care.
I look at it this way. Flitty's going to continue getting more adorable, and you're just going to continue getting more and more fierce. So it works.
I'm not all about the fierce. Fucking...
Well, no, but... epic.
Darvin.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Thank you.
Speaking of things that I've got to stop. Nye. Yeah, no, don't give me that. I'm not going to hit you or anything. You see, this is what I have to contend with about the fierce.
Fair enough.
Point of order. Know how I have a nickname for, like, Remy, Ree? Doing the same to you, because, frankly, he who laments, probably not a name you need to be dragging around through your life. It should not be your only identity. I am calling you Aaron from now on. Actually, Ava and Hazel, who do both speak Elven, do know that it is a word for forest. It speaks to your homeland that you want to hang on to, but it doesn't do the lamentation thing, so... I mean, it's a nickname. Please cope. I'm going to go have tea now.
I really like it.
All glory to tea.
Yeah, Naya seems to be largely considering this.
I think that's a great step forward.
Oh, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you actually decide to use that properly. But I will say this, if we're going to the Elven Wild, and we're going to have to do formal introductions, and they all speak Elven, probably as their first language.
They're all gonna look at him funny.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of saying, you know, this is Hazel Hearthheart, and this is Darvin Taylor, and this is Remy Crestwind, and this is Sir Mopey Guts.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid that.
Probably best.
No, we actually call him that.
It's like, no, actually, that's how he introduced himself to us. So, you know, it's your name, it's your choice, but nicknames happen regardless, so whether you adopt it is up to you. just kind of nods and tries to become one with his tea. Froseth, being wise individual, is just so. It just occurred to me, because it's obviously been a bit fraught, that we're about to send a teenage girl from the country to Egref on her own.
We should. Yeah.
And Rispin's going, well, I still have a couple of favors with some of the good folks at Druidcraft. I could happily go and settle her in. It's probably much better than just handing a note of introduction anyway. And I'm sure you have lists of places that you think she should see, and I can help get her settled in, because obviously I've done the apprenticeship myself. Obviously, more company would be fantastic. And Process just, I'll go along with. There was a Four Elements monastery that I never did get to speak to anybody at, and it might be nice to have some time to check in, especially with some of the things I've been seeing lately.
Pretty good call, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, Alice is just, yeah, I mean, I guess the only things you know about that are secondhand from me, from some of the Four Elements monks that I've had dealings with up north. A first-hand discussion about it probably wouldn't hurt. And Nye's just like, I'll go. I have to get used to
People?
cities. Things that freak me out. Sometime.
Taking the bull by the horns. Good for you, Nine. Oh,
Aaron.
well, I'll let you decide if you...
Well, what you call me is up to you, really.
We take those, Leafy.
Leafy? Leafy?
Unfortunately, my patrons seem to like that. They're laughing at me.
What have you done, Raven? Anyway. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. You don't really want to just dump her there by herself.
Rispin is just... I've become quite fond of her, and I
She's a sweetie.
just...
She seems to really like you, too.
You're gonna have fun.
Now, I can take the sending stone so that you'll all have some idea of where I am and where we are and what we're going to be doing. And
Keep in contact.
And is there anything anybody wants while we're... I remember I was going to teach Hazel how to make this one dish that we had at Hot Pots. And we never got the ingredients together. If I make you a list, can you bring some of that stuff back? It can cook just as easy over campfire. Sure.
Just sort of like staring into middle distance going, oh my god, the options.
Darvin, do you have any paper? I think I used the last of mine.
Oh, yes, of course.
She makes her rather short list and hands the paper to Hazel, just going, think carefully. I'm sure they've got some kind of weight restrictions. And Process like, I have the bag of holding. You have to tell her that.
And I'm gone.
Just in that case, we should make sure there's nothing we might need in it, just to be on the safe side. I mean, I don't think we'll need it.
I think everybody's got individual bits of money, so him having the party funds isn't too much of an issue.
No,
We can always re-divvy stuff later. don't imagine we're going to need the drift globe, but we can move it to Hazel's just to be on the safe side. Remember, a lot of the stuff that we pull out regularly lives in Hazel's, because she's in and out of it all the time.
Right. Just so
At this point, I have reached in and yanked out my hammer and then put it right back in.
Yeah, I think my axe is in there, too.
Shove. Produces axe.
Yeah, to be fair, even you have a hard time lifting her axe. The same way Ava had issues.
Whoa.
Yeah, remember, attunement is a thing. Picks up her axe and puts it back into the bag.
Just so I bring it up so we don't end up in a sticky situation.
It's
Did it? Where did it land? Where did it land when it went thunk?
on the floor. Thankfully, not blade first, so.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was gonna
Don't
check
make
and like
more bloody damage.
mending real quick if need be.
Yeah, no. Hazel is apparently still on the floor, followed by, hey, Reed, given how close Egref is to Bellatrace in the grand scheme of things, you want to write a letter to your parents? I mean, come on. Oralmus is coming up. I'm sure they'd appreciate at least a note saying, hi, I'm okay.
That is a very good point. I'll get that sorted before they head out.
Good. And Darvin will
Sure,
pull
you've
out some
got more paper.
Yeah, Darvin will pull out some paper for Remy and also pull out some for himself. He's going to write a quick letter to Clarity. Just basically saying, "Hey, we live," you know, and filling her in on various bits and pieces and the goings on of Goldendale, so she's aware of things.
Who is that written to do? Oh, I want to add a thing. I want to add a thing.
Oh, okay. Here, have some paper. Write your own thing. We'll put it together.
Hazel, I'm pretty sure your parents taught you better manners than that. So did the Lyra lady from the computer.
I'm sorry. Brain, several directions.
Yes.
Think.
I know the look. It's okay. You're forgiven, but only because I know you.
But it is also good to flag it up kindly for people who are slightly less forgiving.
Reminders help.
Right.
Ow.
Drink your tea, Hazel.
Thank you.
Says once Remy's done with letter, hers is probably quite short. You two have other bits and pieces, and Alice just kind of borrows Remy for a little while because promises were made. So privacy in bunkhouse would be appreciated for a couple of hours prior to bedtimes.
Ding.
But yes, okay. Letters list. Is there anything specific on Hazel's list of shopping bits and pieces that I need to know about? In fact, I probably need to know about them in general because I have to pass them along to Harry later.
Mostly just more diamonds for Revivify.
Okay.
Was the first place her brain goes.
Fair enough.
And then I'm unable to think of anything myself at the moment, unfortunately, but I still can't shake the feeling I'm forgetting something. No.
One way or another, it'll boff us over the head, given how fate seems to treat us.
Yeah, but at the same time, we should probably sit down and take a think about it because, it's better to know before.
Yeah.
One thing Hazel would probably come across in the thinking is that she's starting to run out of special crossbow bolts, and she probably also remembers that Bellatrace at least had arrows similar to her crossbow bolts. So instead of Ava's just explosive arrows.
Ooh. Oh, right. I'm gonna add that to the list. Give it an opportunity. The crossbow, a resupply of crossbow bolts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just gonna try to run down the list here, like martial things.
The flitty potions.
Thank you, Flitty. Yep, I hadn't gotten there yet. That's a good point.
Flitty gets snuggles and bonus scritches from a hazel for that one.
And I'm gonna snap a cookie in half and go extra.
I should be okay for arrows, right? Or am I running?
You're fine for regular arrows, but
Right. I've only got a few of the special ones.
well, you've only got a couple of explosive ones. But if Hazel thinks to mention whether Ava,
Ava,
Yeah.
what kind of arrows do you have again?
I have a couple explosive ones, and I've got a few that allow me to switch two people's positions, essentially.
well, switch your position with somebody else.
Well, yes, mine and...
Well, what if we got you arrows that are like, reaches in, pulls out a cybolt, like this? Those, they hit something and they spark off in the brain, too.
It is shimmering slightly purple at the tip. And there's icy ones.
Yep. And produce one of the ice ones.
She has lightning bolts. Well,
I mean-
the shop had lightning bolts. I don't think she bought any.
Yeah, I just got ice and psychic,
Are a
Flitty.
thing.
I mean, if you can, that'd be great, but...
Let's add lightning arrows.
Yeah, I mean, you never did ask Bella what exactly else she had on that level of special, so you never know. Could get lucky.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say lightning arrows and best way to write this would be any a small amount of any of the special kind.
And also any useful potions that we don't already have in abundance, or just bog standard healing.
And Froseth is just we don't really have any of the graders left. Or at
That's
least I
right.
don't.
Yeah, and I don't either. I used all of those up. Finally. Oosh. Yeah. So we'll need, what do you guys think? At least one for each of us to have on hand?
Yeah,
I've
I'm
still
also
got
out
one.
of graders.
Oh, you do still have one on hand?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay. So,
Froseth is, but one for each of us still might not be a bad thing because that one extra can be one extra.
Yep.
all right. Good point. And then some regular plain general healing, the lower ones just to have on hand in case.
And Froseth, we do have a few of those. We didn't use the ones that Lissy brought us out of, but a few extra would probably not go amiss.
Yeah, 2, 3.
Yep.
Not a whole lot. I think we already have
We have
a
about
few.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I thought we had about 3 or 4. Okay, yeah, so maybe another 3, or enough to make it one for each of us. But I don't think we need to have one on hand for each of us. We don't need each person to hold one. We just need to have.
Wristward
for
is just.
You're going into the realm of words.
Sorry, thank you.
I was just going to say that I, as I've been saying, I have a friend at Druidcraft, and they do handle potions. So,
Oh,
I'm
wonderful.
sure I can think of something.
Bless you.
Yeah, you were going places again, Darwin.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to a few things. Sorry.
It's just. Why are you?
Oh, you might not have.
Well, you could just push the sleeve up, you know.
Oh, okay.
Your
Yeah.
sleeves, you.
Hang on, and
Oh, that's new.
yeah,
He
That's
kind of
goes-
became.
Something.
it goes a ways.
He became kind of sparkly.
was that hyperbole? If so, by how much?
Was that? I'm sorry.
Hyperbole.
Well, I don't know how much I actually sparkled, but
There is a difference between sparkly and glowy.
I mean, from where I could see it, I think it was more glowy. Honestly, I was a bit shocked in the moment. Not literally, but stunned. Not literally. Wait, how can I put this?
Surprised?
Startled?
Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah. Your particular source of this happens to constantly be followed by canaries.
Yeah. Apparently, I've been looked upon favorably by Bahamut, which is surprising, but I find myself thinking it's very fitting, and I'm very happy.
He has faith now, Glump. Carefully this time.
Yes, I do. And it seems right to bring it around, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of backstory about this that I don't entirely understand, and perhaps Furseth will be able to explain it to me. I'll try. This makes sense even to me, but I can. In any case, is there anything else anybody wants to do before bed?
Short of just polishing up that letter and then passing it on. I can't think of anything for myself.
If Remy's willing, I'd spar a bit with her to sort of get a hang on my sword.
That's
if not,
more.
I'm
That's
sort of
more of a
back
first
somewhere.
thing in the morning thing. 'Cause
Right,
those
true,
two are
true.
busy.
Fair.
Fade to tapestry in that case.
I like that. Hazel.
Also finishing letter, crossing out a lot of things and redoing them because I'm going into word flail over the various things that happen. Just trying to document things, but like messing up my words, crossing that out, going back over again.
I don't have that much paper, Hazel.
I can work with the sheet.
Hands her another one. Rewrite it when you're done on that one so it's more legible.
Okay.
Walks away muttering, I actually have more sheets than that. But sure.
Okay. Assuming that that's basically everybody for the evening. Morning happens. Dawn prayers. Sparring, which we'll gloss over because last time anything like that happened, it was bad enough, and that was quarterstaves. I'm not doing it again.
The monk KO'd a paladin.
Oops.
Yeah, you remember your nat 20 slap?
Yeah.
Did that with a quarterstaff.
Oops.
One hit KO.
I mean, they were level 2, so. As I recall, the line was, I'm sorry, I thought you were, well, ready. Because she rolled a nat 1 on initiative, so.
Oops.
And just got whammoed.
Quarterstaff to the head. Whack, thud.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So yes,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, you've got your choice for sparring because, I mean, Darvin is actually your best bet because he uses a rapier,
That's true.
whereas
Remy's more of a long sword.
yeah, Remy's is a long sword. It's close to hand and a halfer actually. Scale Splitter is a large, not particularly ornate, but quite powerful sword. And Alice uses twin scimitars, and with a blade that's more meant for piercing it through chainmail, probably a bit of an unfair advantage there. But if you're trying to get the hang of a fencing sword, it's Darvin that you'd really need to talk to.
Well, plus it wouldn't hurt him to sort of brush up his painting.
Yep.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you know,
after prayers, that would be done.
Ole, Sir Pointy. I'm just watching to keep an eye on this to make sure they don't do anything completely ridiculous.
From the one who seems to excel in ridiculous.
Oh, there's a certain amount of sparring all around, really. Alice A. battle dancing with scimitars versus monk with kama is interesting. And it largely ends up a draw, but it's one of those things you just kind of have to stop and watch after a while, because that's acrobatics and dancer dexterity and... whoa.
Yeah, probably somewhere along the lines it was like, ow, I wasn't... Hey, I wasn't paying attention.
I'm sorry.
No, it was my fault I wasn't paying attention, but I mean, you can't blame me. Damn, look at that. Good hit, though.
After our morning prayers, morning training, breakfast happens, and there's Alice A. cooking up really dark livers, which she just sears the outsides for Furseth. Everybody else gets them a bit, more cooked. But we have since worked out the way of cooking meat to a dragonborn's tastes.
Whoop whoop.
Glancing at 9.
Nice, just kind of poke.
Eat it or I'm taking it, Leafy.
Could we have less of the Leafy, please?
Okay.
I don't...
Yeah, it's a little...
I was just thinking it could come across as a tiny bit derogatory.
Thank you, it wasn't just me. Thank you, everyone.
I'm mad at actually saying the forest word.
Aaron.
Because it's elevation that gives the problem.
Just think of it like the common spelling. That should help.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
That certainly makes it easier for me to words.
Yeah.
Or I've met some humans named Forest. You could just call them that. But thinking about it as the common name would probably be. Let's try to keep a more contiguous.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I like Aaron.
Meanwhile, Nye is sort of looking at this chunk of liver and then nomp. Keeps eating, but it doesn't say one way or another. New and interesting things. But yeah, it's a very rich meat with the frost onions are weird. They're savory, but they are to savory what spearmint is to sweet. So there's this feeling of cold spicy rather than heat spicy. So it's really interesting for Hazel. That was a noise.
I can feel it in my jawline. I love this.
Kind of scary when you guys like that, or was it just me?
I was gonna go with turnips, but that's okay. Gives Remy a bit of a grin. He goes back to her breakfast.
I'm just kind of sitting there and vibrating every time I eat another frost onion chunk.
Oh, Hazel.
Yeah, not much change while you were gone there.
I figured.
A whole day.
I mean, to be fair, it was just one night, so
One afternoon mostly, but with you guys, you never know. Things change real fast with you guys sometimes.
I suppose, yeah.
Good point.
You were muted.
Apparently.
Yeah, I saw bits of that, and you know, this is yet another one of those things we're gonna have to go to. We're gonna have to go to the Heavens Ward about.
We have a list.
One day.
Not that far off. Remember, we have to go back to Equitas. Phylactery, remember?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not to mention research in the Silver Vault. So one of these days, you're actually going to have to meet the people.
Did I even know what the Silver Vault was? I forget. 'Cause
I think it was mentioned around you with these guys. It's basically it's one of the more comprehensive libraries of ancient things. And yes, it was mentioned around you because it was mentioned in context with Nye for history of where he might have come from.
got it.
But yeah, it's run by by Vievaled, the silver dragon who runs the frozen province up north.
Yes, we need to go there.
We will get there, but let's deal with the
One
deal with the problem on your front doorstep before we start
step at a time.
moving on the problem you woke up in ours. Anyway. And as breakfast comes to a conclusion, it's the parental hugs and helping with luggage and you will find a way to write, yes?
Oh, I almost forgot. Molly, before you go, and I'll pull out a small piece of paper and go, you're going to do amazing things, and this is probably going to seem weird that I'm asking for this now, but I may not get the chance later. Can I have your autograph?
Okay. Takes the paper, actually sits down at the table and draws what turns out to be a quick, hastily labeled diagram of the centipede trap and signs it.
Thank you. And fold it up, tuck it away in in like the good pocket.
And are you going to give her letters?
Yes. Yeah, well, I thought we gave those to Froseth. Oh, the letters of recommendation, right?
Oh no, Rizwin's got those. So yeah, okay. They've got all the bits and pieces, and right, okay. I guess it's Hazel.
Rattle.
Opening us a door.
Stump to the door, to the front door. Click open, and portal.
Yeah, and opens on the on the hearth home sitting room. Froseth, Nye, Rizwin, and Molly hurry through. A basket gets shoved in. Rizwin, being dexterous rogue, grabs the sending stone from the top of the basket before the door shuts again.
Yeet! Clunk!
Yeah, so now you have this basket covered with a cloth, so.
I'm going to have a look in here.
Various baked things, a couple of jars of jam. Yes, the cranberry apple preserves are there. And
I emit a hypersonic squeak.
Ow, Hazel!
I never get used to that.
Mind people's ears.
and the hats. You remember the ones that you pulled out the other time? And so Hazel sees the one with the really big pom-pom and the really long one that you got for Darwin and the one with the leaves for Ava and...
I proceed to pick up hats and just start tossing them to the people who need them.
Dunk.
Behold, hat!
We can see it, though.
Ching, 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 ching.
It's a very small bell, so it's very quiet jingle. It's mostly meant for you.
Still.
It makes him happy.
Flitty kind of hides under the length of Darwin hat. But boy, Melissa's just, yes, no, sorry, before I forget. Long, thin, red knitted thing with very small tasseled ends and wraps it around Flitty's neck.
Aww.
I got a scarf. Thank you, scarf lady.
He said
And I'll translate.
Yeah.
I'll translate.
Oh, thank you for giving our daughter this opportunity and for the entertainment.
I guess we're fun in some ways.
That's
One way to put it.
yeah, so the conversations while you were out were fascinating to listen to. We've put you together a few provisions.
Oh, you didn't have to do that.
Seems the least we can do. You've sent our daughter to wondrous opportunities with an honor guard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's quite all right. Besides, from what we've been able to hear from some of this, it appears that your mission is rather, well, it's going to affect everyone, so the least we can do is give a bit of help.
Thank you.
Pat. Good luck in the Elven Wild.
Yep.
Mostly, from the sounds of things, good luck with Suntree. I don't know how. I really don't know how Cedargrove is at the moment, but hopefully it's not too awkward.
Double yep.
No. See you when we get there, I guess.
One way or another, we are going to make sure at some stage that Cedargrove gets a lot less awkward.
Very yep.
Well, stay safe, all of you. And hope
You too.
we'll hear from you again at some stage. Possibly without the yelling. That might be nice.
Sorry about that.
No. And they set you in your cart with the sledge runners on the wheels and the horse. I mean, you need the runners now because it's been snowing pretty significantly. And the draft horse is very, very much appreciated because the old Hearthhome horse might have had some issues.
This is very big horse.
So
Which one of us is driving? Or if that's the word.
Well, who's good with horses, I guess, is a question.
weirdly, Remy. Let
All right.
vehicles.
Up, get, Remy, yes.
Remy gets up.
I'll stake some space in the back.
I'll ride next to Ray.
That's why I figured I'd stake out some space in the back.
I'm getting back with Darwin.
So basically, everybody
Everybody else is...
in the back amongst the various bits of supplies and what have you. And there is the possibility of erecting sort of a tarp over the whole thing just to keep snow off when snow happens, because snow intermittently happens. You have hit winter now.
I am trying to get the tarp over before the snow actually happens, so there's going to be a little bit of hazel flail with it.
Make me a dex save.
Oh boy!
Mhm.
That one.
Hazel does try to do this while the cart is moving and winds up falling out into a snowdrift.
Guys, stop
What
the
was
car.
that?
You're muted.
Sorry, Hazel overboard.
Jump
I'm
off
assuming
and-
Remy stops.
Yep.
I jump off and pull her up to her feet.
It's basically there's Hazel feet in a snowdrift.
Guys,
And Alice pops down, reaches into the snowdrift, grabs by the back of the coat, and whoops!
I can breathe.
Turns you around, just... What were you doing?
Tarp.
Could you have asked us to stop the cart?
I knew I forgot something.
Hazel.
Pause
for
you back in the
sake.
cart.
oh my god. Grab a blanket and shove it over to her.
Prestidigitation.
I look like the just dried off and the fluff is everywhere.
Oh god.
Now put the tarp up and let's go.
Quickly do tarp. Then I grab blanket, latch on to Ava, and just sort of blanket tent. Jarvin, get in here.
Come here.
Don't have much choice apparently, but okay.
And they are bundled in the back. And the world's stabbiest blanket burrito.
Let me understand, you guys want one?
I don't do cold.
Remy? Sorry.
They're asking you. Are you cold?
Wait.
Was the question.
I just decided to get bonus swarm.
What?
What?
I'm confused.
I like cuddling. I like people piles. Okay?
No, we were asking Remy. Remy, do you want a blanket?
Yes, thank you.
Extracting another one from the pile.
Alice just sort of tucks the blanket around Remy. Okay, let's go. And onward through the snow.
For glory and shenaniganery.
Yeah, I mean, it's slower going than originally thought because it's flurries every so often now, but you did have a pretty substantial amount of snow the night you were at the cafes, so even with the draft horse, you're plodding along. And because you were about 10 days from Sun Tree at the start of it, and 3 days at Cathay Farm, you're looking at the best part of 4 days before you reach the borders of between Cedargrove and Goldendale on this upper-ish section of map, as it were. Ordinarily, Hazel pretty much knows, you'd hardly know even on a road. I mean, there's a little sign, usually, saying, you know, entering New Barony. Right now, you're seeing there is a fairly significant difference. At that sign, the snow is kind of piled up, and beyond it you can see what is effectively plowed looking road, or at least much more heavily traveled, so the snow hasn't settled the same way it has in Goldendale.
Huh. That's weird.
What?
I mean, look, the snow's all packed down and turned into road.
Ava, you want to help me come and look at some of the actual tracks left in here?
Yep.
Survival check, please.
Yep. Let's see, 13.
Yeah, between the two of them, I mean, Ava's getting... That's a lot of horses. That's a lot of men. And that's a lot of wagon.
Looks like a big party came through, that's for sure.
Yeah, look at the size of the... I mean, they're well-shod horses, too. And the size
Thinking
of
soldiers?
Yeah, I'm thinking war horses.
Towards where, though? From land to the where?
Well, they did say Cedargrove martial law.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're going to want to be able to patrol without getting stuck in snow. Amazing they stopped at the Goldendale border.
Huh.
I mean, we can take the snow runners off the carts, that's something, but we're still another couple of days out from Suntree. Even at, you know, not snowbound pace. What do we do if we get stopped by a patrol?
Good question.
If it's only one
Lame.
patrol.
We could do one of two things. Smack them all, or claim to be carrying supplies.
There's a third thing. I mean, I'm not nigh, but I can do illusion stuff. We've pretended to be entertainers before.
And we certainly have several of them in party.
And, you know, it's not like we're going to get asked to... Even if we get asked to do an impromptu performance, you know, we'll just... Darwin and I will take the lead.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, Remy's bodyguard, Hazel.
Hazel's a clown.
And also, and I pull out the medicine kit, responsible for this.
Keeping us healthy and healthy. That works.
And
Ava, well,
management.
trick shots.
Oh,
Well, yeah, there you go, management.
And management.
There you go, nice. Okay, so there's a cover story.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to it, keep an eye out for patrols. If we see one, I'll just make our tarp look like something sufficiently
Traveling
shiny in Hazel speak. We may have to do that when we go into town anyway. 'Cause I don't think we really necessarily want word that adventurers are coming through, because that's the other problem. Bringing in supplies would be a great cover story if we weren't what we are.
Uh-huh.
But we're too varied a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you'd have to break out, like, spells to look different.
And unfortunately, I can only do one. I can only do it for me. That's it. And I couldn't do anything about what's in the cart. Focus, concentration stuff. And I mean, I suppose at the very least, there's only one half-elf now, but when Froseth and Rizwin and Nye join us, then we're far too varied a party to be just hauling supplies, and too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, traveling artist seems like the best story for now.
That can be our ideal, yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose if anyone does catch us on the road with a plain old raggedy tarp, we can just say we don't want it to get wrecked by the weather.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and if nothing else, it could be argued that, if we keep the flashy to a minimum while we're traveling, we don't get accosted, etc. So that's another possible.
Yeah, you're right. That is a good one, though. Although, to be fair, sometimes traveling entertainers want to be accosted.
True.
Because then they could put on a show for somebody in a farmstead and pick up a little bit of coin or a meal on the road.
Good point. Guess it really just going to depend on how they approach.
But to be fair, we could just say, weather like this, nobody's going to be coming out necessarily, so we'll keep the flap inside or until we hit a city and are properly set up.
True, because then it could be argued that if anybody does come out, they're probably there for not good reasons. So again, best to keep the flash internal. Gotcha.
Yeah, well, I don't really have that much choice about my flash.
Right.
Yeah, you see, this is part of the problem with my being a ride along. You guys and Froseth, me and Froseth, we stand out.
You're sparkly, and we like that, even if it does sometimes result in hiccups.
I'm just saying it's awkward and an interesting exercise in lateral thinking.
That's the best kind.
Those are some big words.
Yeah, Hazel, there's a difference between lateral thinking and your brain going sideways.
Oh, I missed you.
Come on, it was one afternoon. I'm sure you really did enjoy being the most verbose person in the room.
Well, I did.
But it still wasn't the same without you.
It's never the same without anybody. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. Anyway, let's go, okay?
Onwards!
We don't have to make a thing.
Yeah, but that's our thing, making things of things.
She takes Hazel's hat and just pulls it over her face.
Thank you.
Now we can go.
Hazel, let's keep the shouting down if we can. Try not to draw too much attention.
She's supposed to be the comedy, let's be fair, so...
I guess.
I'm gonna just reach over to Ava, poke.
Alice reaches back without looking, grabs Hazel's hand. You know I broke somebody's hand once. You're going to stop.
Yes!
Let's go.
Thank you, Alice.
Now I know how parents feel on long Next time, just shout, "Mom, Hazel's on my side." Okay?
Hazel won't stop touching me.
And
Maybe not that one.
and then we will threaten to turn this adventure around and go home. Alright, well, we are at about that time, and now that you've decided how you're going to approach entering Cedargrove proper, we will take our break, and when we come back, you will properly enter Cedargrove and see what the living situation there is like. After some shenaniganry through the snow and generally chugging along, they have reached the borders of Cedargrove and found that the roads are very well traveled by what appears to be military. So they've decided on their cover story should they get accosted by anybody, and are trundling on through Ava's home barony. The clear fields die fairly quickly, and what you're riding through instead is a lot of forest. Many different varieties of trees, obviously a fair bit of cedar, but pines and maples and just forest as far as the eye can see. Sometimes as you travel down the road, there are little paths which you can see lead to little clearings with log cabins in them, which apparently is where the loggers and such like make their homes. Around about dusk on the first full night, you come by a larger clear space. You obviously haven't reached Suntree yet. You're still a couple of days away, but this appears to be a coachman's inn of sorts. Looks like a nice enough place, and your supplies are they're dwindling, put it that way. You got Alice asking, is it worth stopping?
Judging from our supplies, I'm not sure how much of a choice we've really got.
That's the horse will eat, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've stopped, but giving the horse some shelter and a nice rub down wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah.
We can at least do that much, yes.
The problem is with the forests around, given how that tent expands, it's trying to find a campsite. That's the other problem. Particularly one with I mean, there's still some snow, so at least water isn't too much a problem, but we'll see what the place is like before we start asking about rooms, but we can at least park the horse for a while. So you trundle in, and in the stables is a rather skinny, moderately tall, rather young man. He's probably about Hazel's age, and just sort of snoozing in a chair until you guys clop up and just oh.
Hello, we have horse.
Good for you. We're gonna go in for like at least a meal. Can you see to the horse getting a good rub down and some something more to eat than what he can forage off the snow? Yeah. We can do that. This boy is staring at her at this point. It's like, I'm out of your league. We're not even playing the same sport. Right parts, very different instruction manual. Pat.
Yeah.
He's just got the sad puppy. As she walks into the inn. And Remy should take that for the compliment that it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to hop out,
Wait.
walk up to stable boy, pat, walk away.
It's just... and starts unhitching the horse. Sort of looks Remy up and down and just... No. Not even gonna try.
Wise choice.
Yeah, inside it's... There's some clientele. Most of them are male, most of them are large. All of them are dressed quite warmly with... There's hooks all along all the walls, and there's pretty heavy coats there. This is clearly a lumberjack's inn.
Yes!
So just about everybody you've got there is burly. They swing an axe for a living, and a good 2/3 of them are missing a finger or two. And they look at you guys when you walk in.
I just look impressed.
The barman, by contrast, is this rat-faced little drink of water who looks at you all like, what are you and what are you doing in my bar?
I'm keeping an eye out for anyone who's giving us, like, suspicious looks.
They're all
They
looking
look
at you
suspicious to me.
funny.
No, but I mean, that I find suspicious. Right?
Yeah, Ava, they are all looking at you funny. Every
It is literally
one of them. Because
Okay.
you're young,
Weird.
pretty, unmarked, wearing weapons, and walking into their bar. And Alice A just puts on her best Alzor High accent. Hello. We are looking for a meal and a drink. And the weasel-faced man is just going, "Are you, what, circus folk?" "Something along those lines, yes. I do not know why my instrumentalist here does not speak. Are you only speaking with your viola this week?" "I know you."
I didn't want to interrupt.
"Well, I know you did that the once, and it was quite the bit."
But yes, we are simply looking for a meal and a drink.
It is a glorious thing! Yay!
She has our comedy relief. Looks at her and just, So,
And at that,
will you be favoring us with a demonstration of your talents, then? Well, maybe if you are very, very nice to us.
oh my god! This is kind of horrifying to witness.
Well, we do not go where we are not wanted. And to be fair, some of the looks that we are getting suggest that we are not wanted. So we would not want to interrupt the drinking of these fine people. And these fine people are sort of going. And there's one gentleman with a very ratty beard looks up and goes, "What kind of entertainment do you put on with those?" And points at her scimitars. "I guess I have to show them now."
Yes, you do.
Stands
I don't
back.
think you have much choice, I'm afraid.
Stands back. Flourishes.
Yeah.
Both to.
The move that she does. I mean, you just see the 1 minute she's just standing, dance first position. Next minute, the scimitars are moving, catching what light there is in the bar, and the next thing you know, she's spun over to this guy's table, and his sandwich is cut clean in half. And his beard is a little bit trimmed. I am what they call a blade. And there's, from a few of the people around, there's just sort of there's some slightly worried applause. And this one, he looks over at Darvin.
Behold the musical man,
Yeah,
man that is in music.
Pull out the viol and run a few.
Give me a performance check.
Run a few. Okay. It's 11.
It's not your best performance, but you've only just come in from the cold, and it really is just a few scales. You do get a certain amount of dancing light accompaniment from Alice to shiny things up, though.
Not my best. My apologies. We are just coming in from the cold. My fingers haven't had a chance to warm back up.
And the clown. Hazel.
There's just this grin before I proceed to basically intentionally faceplant, roll in a goddamn circle, and then sit up grinning.
I was kind of thinking something.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck to make you roll for that. I'm gonna have to say athletics.
10.
You've come out of it with a bruised nose, but we would normally have a bit more in the way of specialness, but honestly, there is not a whole lot of space to be working with. Well, we got meat pie. And beer.
And I am now very obviously salivating. And leaning like I'm about to fall over again.
We will take a seat. And how much will it be for meals? That entirely depends on if you're going to provide more entertainment than your friend here mashing her face on the floor. Well, I could trim a few more beards if you like. Could you just sit down? Okay. I just sits and... Oh, dear gods, I hate that voice sometimes.
How many times did you have to use that back in Elzor High?
Oh, no, I didn't use it there, generally speaking. They like something a little bit more in the way of exotic everywhere you go. So actually sounding like I came from Belarus came in much more handy than sounding like I came from there.
Yikes.
But but you did hear me very briefly do the, chirpy, cheerful, ditzy Belarus voice. I was very glad to give that one up. I am very glad that Ree was not so much attached to that one.
I've got a few ideas if I have to pull another act on short notice aside from klutz.
Try not to break anything.
Try not to hurt yourself.
Yeah, I think that's probably more. I mean, looking around, I don't think we broke anything. I don't know if they'd notice.
I think if she was to break herself, she could probably fix it.
Exactly.
I guess.
Honestly, it's not that good to put too many limitations on her, because she will simply forget them anyway.
The to her credit, it's forgetting, not ignoring. It's a little...
Harsh but true.
No, she actually forgets them.
Yep.
I completely know I do it. I can't stop it. It just happens.
That's okay. We love you. And we'll do our best to... I don't know. Maybe soften the floor or something. I don't know.
Figure it out.
I have healing words and healing hands. It's okay.
Yeah, no,
If it's necessary. Meat-wise, some mugs that you're not entirely sure got cleaned this decade, and a flagon of ale get plonked on the table.
Meat.
Hazel, give me a perception check if you're digging.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Oh no.
6.
Nope, you're just scoffing away.
I have not noticed anything wrong.
Remy dig is in.
Yeah, Remy, perception check. My God, you rolled really. My God, nobody cares. This is great.
Somebody's noticed this is going to be awful.
Having looked around, I'm going to poke a little, and
Perception check.
but I'm not digging in. I'm just sort of poke. Perception. 14.
Does it look like it should, or does it look weird?
It looks like meat, but that does appear to be a claw, and it may, to Darvin, it may be dog.
Oh.
I'll try to surreptitiously pick the claw out. Signed up.
Do I catch it like that?
When in Belarus.
What?
Oh.
Actually picks up the claw. Picks up her pie, pulls the top crust off, pokes around in it a little bit, and then goes, in projection, carry voice, Excuse me, did anyone in this establishment have a dog? About 3 people.
Ava just goes a little tinge of green.
I just stop.
I haven't actually dug it. I was about to.
I haven't touched it. I
I just shove mine aside.
Remy pauses.
I would recommend for you to look where you left your dogs because I am not sure they are there anymore. The various of these gentlemen are looking at their pies and looking at the owners. The owner is just going. Beef's
3,
expensive.
2, 1.
It wouldn't have been so bad if the claws weren't in there.
The 3 that raised their hands are heading out into the barn where you guys do recall a distinct lack of dog.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm watching. I'm gonna watch the rat face guy because if he does a runner, I'm stopping him.
Perception check from Hazel.
I'm sort of looking across the room at this, like, the whole...
18.
Oh yeah, he's inching towards the back of the bar where there's probably...
I'm going to get in his way.
Contested athletics check time.
Do I have time to get over there too?
Actually, well, it doesn't really matter because he turns around, tries to run, trips over his own feet, and wham.
Oh.
At which point the 3 who went looking for their dogs have come back and they have axes.
I'm just going to sit on the man.
Oh.
Well, you made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. Pat, pat, pat.
Oh, God.
Wasn't quite the type of entertainment I had in mind, but okay. This is what we're doing now.
I guess.
I am not getting involved in this. I
Nope.
said my piece, but I did not. I mean, admittedly, he did not play us false. He did say it was meat pie. Perhaps we should have asked what meat was in it, and see what sort of face he made when he told the lie. Because sometimes big lies, they have a hard time fitting past your teeth. By this point, the 3 have approached Hazel and the rat-faced man and just, do you mind?
I just step off him.
Those were expensive dogs.
I'm very quickly going back to my seat. Like about halfway over there, and then
far away.
and we're still standing there, and I'm I'm like motioning for Hazel to hurry up and get the heck over here.
I've just gotten out of their way.
Are you back to the table, or are you just watching from close up?
Hazel, get over here.
I'm just gonna follow Darvin's gesturing and sort of meander over.
Yeah, by this point, they are kind of turning him into a thin paste. This man is getting beaten to within an inch of his life.
Please.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
You're right.
Nope.
Yeah, he killed dogs. That's.
He killed dogs and he fed them to us in pie. You did not eat the pie, you were fine.
No, but the idea makes me queasy.
To be fair, is not generally that bad, but carnivores are not good eating. Particularly not if you take so little care with the meats. Desert or frozen wastes, you take your meat where you can get it, but I don't think anyone knew. And if the poor men thought their dogs ran away, that would not be good. Yeah, the beating has finished. The 3 men involved have raided the ale.
I'm going to go examine the guy to make sure he's not completely dead.
No, but he's not going to be moving under his own power for a while.
I'm going to check if there's anywhere in the back I could just sort of leave him that we won't, like, immediately expire.
There's living quarters off the kitchen to the back.
I'm going to attempt to haul him back there.
Your strength is pretty good. He's not that big. You can manage to do that. But while you are looking for the living quarters, etc., you do find a pantry that is remarkably full of meat that could have gone in the pie.
So wait, more? So would this be discernibly as more dog, or?
No, this is. You're pretty sure that's goat, and you're pretty sure that's pork.
I'm going to flop him down, give him sort of a bare bones patching so that he's not going to completely keel over if I don't keep an eye on him, and proceed to raid his food stock. And I'm going to come out to the bar and go, behold! There actually is better stuff in here.
There's cheering from the bar staff, and Alice is going, shall I teach you to be doing a bit more in the way of cooking?
Please and thank you!
You shall have the foods of my people! And there is hooray from Note that, quietly to the table. Note that I did not say which people. I have too many people for it to be a decision.
Yep.
And after a little while, come out with it's not so much pie. It's more sort of a spicy-ish casserole that is apparently goat. I promise you that there is no carnivore of any kind in this. Although, to be fair, goat will eat anything.
Can attest to that. One has tried to eat my feet.
She will demonstrate to you as supper entertainment the running away from the goat. And gestures to Hazel.
And I'm basically just gonna do the exact same flail run as best as I can remember.
No, go away, you stupid goat! Leave me dead!
I'm just sort of tumbling away from imaginary goat.
Oh my god.
So yeah, dinner and entertainment, and this is a far better evening than you had originally thought. You are tipped a total of 5 gold in assorted small change.
Wow.
Between Alice, Darvin, and Hazel, because they were the ones actually doing the entertainment bits and pieces. I will assume Darvin played, and Alice did a bit more of her dancing and a bit of playing of her own, because she does still have her guitar.
Would I have noticed if there was any sort of barring on magic by any chance on the way in?
You didn't see anything.
I was thinking of using Sacred Flame to sort of juggle a Sacred Flame.
Of course, you could do that Guardians thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to do this. Yeah. I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians. It's a bunch of fairy dragons, and just zooming around in patterns.
This is new. We have not seen you do this.
I can do more than just fall on my face.
It's nice when you prove it now and then. Yes?
Yep.
Well, that's like I can do more than chew my own shoe. It is nice when I can manage to prove it sometimes.
He has, in fact, eaten actual shoes.
That was once. I was speaking more metaphorically, but yes.
And I don't think it was so much eating as it was simply chewing. I do not think the digestive process was in any way involved.
I'm just continuing to emit fairy dragons.
And Flitty is actually sort of flying with the spiritual fairy dragons. So, are we to find camping space, or are we to see if they have beds here?
Well,
We could ask if they have camping space.
Or are we to ask? Are we to ask Comatose beat-up man?
yeah, he's in a corner somewhere. I don't think he's moving.
Well, no.
So I wouldn't pass up the rooms if they're open.
All right.
Well, I don't think he is exactly going to be in any position to ask us for rent.
Oh, very much no.
Now, if you will excuse me, I am. She starts collecting pie from the table and going. I am going to see that these get a decent burial.
I'll help.
And then looks the three who apparently lost their dogs. Would you like to come and I know that we are trying to give them what little respect that we can.
Maybe just pulls out butterscotch and squeezes him.
Yeah,
Good.
Butterscotch is getting some. What the fuck is that? Looks. Butterscotch looks at the pies, sniffs at the claw
No, don't
on the
look, don't
table, and basically tries to disappear down Ava's shirt.
Okay, buddy, it's okay.
And Say sort of leans closer and goes, don't worry, I do not think that even the owner of this establishment is stupid enough to try to feed his people fluff. You are not. No, she's talking about Scotch. You are not made of meat. You are made of fluff and love.
Fluff.
Butterscotch just a little nose and little ears just poke out from Ava's shirt collar. Just.
You're okay. It's okay.
Just fluff and love. Do not worry. Now come, we will bury poor mutilated dogs. Come. And the three burly ass. And yeah, anybody who's going outside for this, they
beef McLarge and huge.
Yeah, the various beef McLarge huges. One of them is in literal tears.
Aww.
He gets a hug from a Hazel.
You know, I'm gonna step out and as the burying takes place, I will play something appropriately somber. It's only right.
So, burial for the dog pies.
There's a phrase I didn't think I'd hear tonight.
Wow.
I don't like.
This went all kinds of interesting directions.
But Flitty, once the fairy dragon dance ends, does land on Hazel's shoulder and says, in Sylvan, "It's still better than the blind harpy."
Yeah, infinitely better than the blind harpy. That place was the worst, and they didn't pay us.
Why would the blind harpy pay you?
And I switch to and I go from common to Sylvan because I'm putting on an act.
Okay.
Scratch.
Yeah, one of them is going, "I'm sorry, you tried to do entertainment in the blind harpy."
It was on the way.
Where? Gray's Inn, of course. Where do you think people like us are going to be entertaining? So, the one who's sort of wiping his eyes at the moment is going, "So where are you heading now?" We are taking a tour through Cedargrove with designs on a command performance in the Elven Wild. You might want to pass through Baronsvere as quickly as possible. Oh? It's not the most welcoming place in the cities, for lack of a better word. I thought everywhere welcomed a pretty face and a good entertainer. I mean, I might not be so pretty, but look at him! And gestures to Darwin.
And for those not into pretty, everyone's into some kind of sparkly.
Not so much.
What?
They're a little bit grim these days. Here in Cedargrove.
That's terrible!
Yes, but I don't think it is in one entertainer group to change it. Just be careful. You've done us a good turn today. So...
Happy to help.
Be careful. While you're
We
here.
appreciate the heads up.
Did you come out for the burying then?
Oh, whoops.
I mean, if Remy wants to try talking to some of the locals to see what you... And to be fair, Remy's like, okay, there's military action going around. I might want to ask for gossip, and Ava can, if she's...
Probably more casually listening.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, there's not...
Pinking my ears.
Not... Okay, perception check from both of you. And I imagine most of you are missing Frosa's ability to lip read.
Ooh, 20.
Woo!
Yeah, Remy's not hearing any of the keywords that would really make her prick her ears up. Ava's hearing should we warn these guys? I mean, they look like the kind who are gonna go and try and perform for noble houses. So maybe we ought to give them some kind of heads up for what kind of act they're like. Now, come on, they're in a pretty seedy lumberjack tavern, preventing us from eating dog pie. Let's give them a little bit of credit, shall we? Yeah, but they're flashy and they're well dressed, and that's the kind of place flashy, well dressed go. Should we warn them? I'm sure that Chet out there is going to warn them. I mean, you saw the look on his face when he came back, minus dog. I don't believe he actually named his dog Dog. He's never had that much imagination. And the conversation goes on from there. So, but yeah, Remy's not picking up anything that pings a military mind, but that's what Ava has.
I wouldn't have any idea what they're sort of referring to.
Well, if they're saying that noble houses are not a good place, that for her that probably means that there aren't any noble families in the area left that haven't either been, that aren't either properly loyal to the king, or
non-existent,
or are too cowed to stand up. And that's either they're properly loyal, they're too scared to be anything but loyal, or they're dead. So Baronsvere, Cedargrove, in terms of the nobility, is not going to be very friendly to them. Not the actual nobles. But clearly the common people aren't all that happy with it. Well, Hazel knows that much because, they're warning these yahoos.
Mm-hmm.
You got Alice once the service is over, nudging everyone back in and just going, I will see what can be mustered up for some kind of dessert, because you need some kind of treat after this sort of thing. But thank you very much for your warning. We will try to take that into some kind of account. I mean, you have all been lovely generous. And turns around to, if you would not mind passing the message and warning of our good friends here along to our management. And heads on back into the kitchen.
I'm actually going to follow. I'm going to follow Alice to help with the cookery shenanigans.
Like, oh good, I don't have to talk in that voice for a couple of minutes. Okay, let's see what we can up. Oh, there's so much maple nut here. Oh, we can do things with this. And there's snow. Get me some snow.
Right? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. This is basically just things clanging from inside the kitchen. Just like Hazel occasionally grabbing a random pot and just going bong to make a show of it.
Okay, and over to you guys.
Muted.
So, the cities aren't going to be very welcoming.
Well, I did have a kind of feeling it would probably be the case.
Doesn't seem as though the common folk are too thrilled with it, but
I mean,
we should. I believe the turn of phrase was make your way through Baronsvere as quickly as possible.
Cedargrove.
Cedargrove, excuse me. Well, Baronsvere. They said Baronsvere in general.
Oh, to be fair, they're looking at Alice and thinking you guys are all foreign, so.
So, but the cities won't be very welcoming. Like I said that. So that's pretty much it. It's really nothing that we did.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's nothing we didn't figure already. Was probably going to be the case. This just confirms what we already thought.
Door opens and inside come 5 gentlemen in very familiar dark armor.
do they have any like symbols?
You've
or...
seen it before anyway.
It's Crown's Guard.
Oh shit!
And the guy who appears to be in charge is going, "Where's Donovan?" It's massive. I mean, we're talking the butchest of butch women. Plants her hands on the table, stands up, and goes, "The asshole fed us Chet's dogs. That asshole got what he deserved. So we're drinking his beer and eating what he had stashed away. And if you don't like it, you can go screw."
Oh god!
I'm just waiting to let this see how this plays out.
Remy, drinks.
Because you do realize that Hazel and Alice are, and Hazel's bonging around in the kitchen, and they don't know.
Bong! Just inappropriately timed noise.
So who exactly is in the kitchen? Just some passers-by. They decided they were going to be helpful. Because it ain't like any of us can cook. Well then, I hope they made enough for, I hope they made enough for the usual patrol.
I'm gonna sort of quietly. Do they see me or are they back to me?
No, they're standing in front of the door. They've got a good view of the entire place.
I'm gonna stand up. Let me step into the kitchen real quickly and verify that we did. Pardon me.
I was just gonna do that. Trying to be a bit more discreet, but I wasn't gonna be able to. So
And you hear, and who was that? That was one of the passers through. Weren't you listening?
Another bong!
And Darvin comes in as apparently Alice is making maple walnut ice cream.
Grand Guard Patrol just walked in. 5 strong. As far as I don't know if you heard any of the yelling, but they've been told about the dogs and about how we helped, and we're just passersby. So far.
Okay, so how'd you get in here and what?
I said I was checking to make certain that we had enough for the quote-unquote usual patrol.
Of course, we don't even know what the usual patrol is supposed to be, so could you go back out there and say that the impromptu kitchen staff has asked how many they need to feed?
Will do. And I'll step back out. Pardon me, the impromptu kitchen staff needs to know how many you are needing to feed.
Just us 5.
Got it. Thank you. Just the 5.
Cover your ears.
Bloody hell.
Remy looks to the kitchen.
And Alice,
Maybe just face palms.
Alice grabs Hazel. Now is not the time.
That was the last one.
Maybe it's just face palming.
Just in case, and she hangs you from a coat hook.
I give her a thumbs up. Thank you.
Let me handle this. Just a bit of a gesture, and that actually looks a lot like the disguised self that Clarity did when she was being your hype person. Dark skin and the freckles and the...
Mm-hmm.
In her case, it's slightly unkempt hair, a little bit Hazel borrowed. I hope this is as much a test as anything else, so let's see how we do. But I was not going out there like that. And she manages just about to scrape out 5 portions of her impromptu casserole and does the waitress thing. Hello, strapping gentlemen in armor, I guess want these? And they're looking up and you're the passers-by? Yeah, I mean... Is people on the road that much? Can I put these down now? Yeah, no, sure, of course. Sets them down.
Are the other guys still there? The ones they were talking to initially?
Yeah, the lumberjacks are sitting watching at this point, and they're not saying anything at this stage. So it's like, and why exactly are you passing through? Well, basically, I don't know about the rest of them. I'm traveling with them as much for safety as anything else, but I'm looking for work. I mean, I cook, I serve, I do the bar wench thing, I guess. I mean, I'm off the clock at the moment. This was supposed to be my travel vacation, but what am I gonna do? Am I gonna look at a meat pie that I know is full of dog and go, yeah, let's just eat it? Come on.
Remy does a double take at her.
Well, you've done the Crown's Garter service today, I suppose. I can't... I mean, obviously, this particular inn is missing an owner at the moment. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I did this as a favor, but I'm not gonna do any more cooking in a kitchen that has filled its pots with dog. Just no. Besides, I think these guys probably have their own ideas of what to do with it. And I mean, they're lumberjacks. They've got their own needs, and they probably don't need quiet, pie bar kind of thing. They probably want big roast meats, and they can do that sort of thing on their own, can't you guys? And way from
Yes.
see, they're gonna work it out, and they're gonna talk or maybe shake some sense into Donovan, wasn't it? Yep. They'll work something out. They've got their own little thing. I'm just here for the food and some booze, and when the rest of my little traveling band are ready to go, we're getting out of Dogsville, okay? If you wanted to wait overnight, we could potentially escort your party. I really wouldn't ask you guys to do anything like that. I mean, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know where these guys even eventually want to go. No, that's entirely fair. Do be careful. There are some dubious individuals out there. Are there now? Such strapping Crownsguard men? Well, we could keep it to a minimum, obviously, but rabble-rousers in the towns, Looks to the bar at large. Do I look like a rabble?
No.
Nah.
I mean, okay, maybe I'm a rabble, but there's only a few certain things I rouse in certain individuals, and like I said, I'm off the clock. I'm back to the kitchen. Because I was fixing a not that special dessert, so I'm gonna go back and deal with that, because I think one of the individuals with this bunch is absolutely helpless. She is going to make some lucky man a great fixer-upper wife someday, and I'm gonna go try and mitigate that kind of damage. So,
Remy takes a very long drink of beer.
it was wonderful to meet you all, but I'm more comfortable with the yelling lumberjacks than with the military. Bye. And disappears back off into the kitchen.
I just remained on the coat hook, and I just wave. I give her a thumbs up.
Yeah, you have no idea how poorly they rolled on insight. I mean, that was absolute bullshit. But then again,
1, 2, 1.
4, 5. The highest was an 8.
That's pathetic.
And with her bonuses for the actor feat, just no.
Just prepare for the masquerade.
And it's like, I'm gonna get Darvin to bring the ice cream out to these guys, and I'm leaving by the back door because I just no.
Can't handle any more of that.
I don't want to take any more risks.
Mm-hmm.
Good plan.
And
So I will.
she ladles out homemade ice cream, and could you?
Yes,
Thank you.
of course.
I've prepared all of that, but I'm gonna head with the cart and.
Can I come off of this first?
Walks out the door.
Uh-oh.
She comes back a minute later. And
Hazel, go with.
Yeah.
Okay, Alyssa?
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Thank you.
Just let the others know quietly.
Yes.
As we're leaving, I'm going to check on Beaten within an inch of his life.
He's asleep.
Oh, good.
He's asleep. He's gonna survive.
Oh, good. You still function.
Well, and it'll take a few trips because I'm not as used to doing it as Alice is, of course, but I can manage, no problem.
When you get to the Crown's Guard, you get your lady friend's name. Your lady friend there. What's her name?
This is out of character because I'm trying.
Sorry, there is no added character. You have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Janie.
Needs a bit of cleaning up, but just have to keep an eye out for her.
I just raise my eyebrows and just keep on handing. Discretion is the better part of valor in this case. I answered the question. That's all I'm getting.
The one who brought that up, is it? So, you look a bit... Are you and she... You're muted. You're muted.
Muted!
Okay, sort of. Am I still muted? Because I just turned...
You're good.
That was weird because I wasn't muted when you said I was.
We heard nothing, so...
Okay, well, sort of, it's both half unintentional and half intentional blushing at this point. And I'm just sort of meep, like I don't say meep, but I'm...
Oh.
I'm just going to let them think what they want type of thing. Let them fill the blanks.
So, is she the take charge type?
Is this in eavesdropping range?
Oh.
Remy clears your throat.
Am I next to her?
You're all at the table. You can all still hear them,
Right.
and we hadn't decided who was sitting where. So if you want to be sitting next to him,
Well, I just want to sort of put like a hand on like, just let it go. Ignore it.
you are hearing Remy just.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hating it too. I'm just like, react.
Yeah, and you're muted.
Damn it, I keep doing that. Sorry about that. I'm just letting them fill the blanks.
I think your little dark-haired friend over there is very jealous of your girlfriend.
Oh, good God! Where is this going?
Enjoy your ice cream. And I go right back into the kitchen.
Weren't you supposed to tell
There's like
them
a little
where you
trail
were
of dust.
Or you be... Oh, I guess the last plates would be for these.
Yeah, I'm saving them for the... I'm just... I was letting them fill the blanks. They left out the kitchen. They'll be by the cart. We want to get gone.
Oh, God.
I am like, I'm not even looking at Remy. I'm just like, sorry.
Were they like across the room, or were they like right behind us? Or?
They're a few tables away, so he can lower his voice and not be heard, but...
Yeah, but they were, they're Crown's Guard. They don't need to be quiet.
Mm.
Okay, Darwin, just relax. We'll be out after you in a little bit.
Okay.
Right, Ava?
I'll go to the kitchen and go out that way. That seems to be the safest bet.
Yeah, Alice has taken the box seat with the reins, and well, the horse been wiped down pretty well. She's still in the disguise for the moment. Hazel, I assume, is in the back.
I'm gonna clamber, I'll clamber in the back.
I I checked around to see if the stable guy was still there, and then got in the back.
Stable guy's still there, looking at 5 pretty significant war horses. Like, what do I do with these?
I'm going to pop back out and same thing you did for ours, just more carefully.
He reaches to try and unbridle one, and yeah, it bites him for. No!
I'm gonna go try and help him.
Give me an animal handling check.
This is gonna go
14.
You dealt with ornery goats. You can deal with these.
There we go. Come on. I am not worth chewing on. You know it.
Could she even reach them though? Because she's a bit small for some horses, fairly big.
War horses are fairly big, but
you
she can still.
There's horse minding gear if it's a stable.
Right.
And they get them unsaddled and generally calm and just thank you.
People need help, I provide it.
So I should be quiet about the fact that the lady with the shiny hair went in and the lady with the scruffy hair came out, right?
Very much, yes, please.
Okay. And by this point, Darwin is out. Still probably a bit mottled in the face. What the heck is wrong with you?
The guards, well, one of them started asking me, well, about you, and I kind of let them fill in the blanks, and they made assumptions, and... yeah, no.
What kind of assumptions?
Well, you two ask in the back. I don't want to know. I know what I was playing towards, and anything more than that, I don't need to know.
Okay.
Hazel's probably not gonna let you forget that, so you can explain it to her, but I'm not listening.
It was embarrassing. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'll get it. Once you get over the embarrassment, I'll ask again. But if
and
you
I'm gonna say the same thing. I don't want to repeat it.
Fair enough. Okay.
Oh my god, Hazel actually took that? Wow. Wait, did I say that out loud? Crap.
Doink.
Okay, you two have more or less finished your ice cream. You do notice that despite the original celebratory atmosphere in the place once the dog pie was appropriately dealt with, it's now gone very quiet.
Better to make our exit. What do you think?
Yeah, right. Finishes your drink very casually.
Yeah.
Well,
Heads out.
a few other people are leaving at approximately.
Very unassuming. I'm at a back door, front door, do you think?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Back door, front door, do you think?
Well, there's a few people leaving by the front door, and they're big.
Remy's going out the back.
Okay.
I'll follow her then. Glancing carefully at the guards, see if anyone's highest funny.
Just get hey, you want to send Janie back out here?
I'll see if I can find her, but no guarantee.
Okay, out you guys go.
I said no guarantees.
It broke up a little, but you did. Okay, you guys head back to the cart. Alice has already got the reins and still in the disguise. And yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes you just play to what you know.
It's
No
fine.
worries. They were looking for Janie, though. I said
So
I'd
it's time
see if
to
I could
leave.
find her, but no guarantee. But yes, I agree.
Turns around and makes a couple of obscene hand gestures in the general direction of the cart.
I'm going to pop out wave at the stable dude and go, "Good luck."
Thank you.
Before sort of disappearing into the back again.
Well, I said I was just passing through, so once you get out of visual range of the tavern, she drops the disguise. Okay.
That was not fun.
Black.
Well, at least we've got some idea of how we can expect things to go even if we play our cards right. I mean, guard patrols going into a lumberjack bar?
That seems a bit weird, doesn't it?
It makes me wonder if they were smoking anything.
It makes me wonder if they've got the whole jackboot on everybody's necks thing.
More than likely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking more like keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, we're probably not going to want to trust too many. Probably not going to be able to trust too many folk.
No.
I can guarantee that we can trust the people that don't like having a boot on them.
Except they might be too scared of what happens when the boot decides to come down harder.
True.
It's not that they're not trustworthy because they're evil, it's because they're scared.
Yeah.
So not everyone's you and your family.
I know.
Worse than people sometimes. All the best, but
At the very least, we know that the Sun Tree Tavern is bound to be safe. Much like Hazel's home, it's run by older adventurers.
And those are always gonna want to punch jerks in the face.
Yeah,
Metaphorically, directly, or indirectly.
let's just hope they haven't paid for it.
Darvin just gets a momentary look in his face, it's just like, oh God, please don't. I'm not even going to say that out loud. Oh boy. Ugh.
I'm just gonna kind of lean on him and lean on Darvin and hug him.
Yeah, thanks. That was not a good thought.
Sorry, man, but it's gotta be thought.
Yep.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm still not voicing it out loud.
Fair. And now we find a clearing, rest up for the night, and try and double time it to Sun Tree if we can. We should only be about another day's ride, so if we don't run into anything too nasty, we should hopefully make it without too much more travel time. And hopefully we'll hear from Rizwin and the others by then.
Yeah, here's hoping.
how are they going to find us though? Because we
They gave a specific tree.
right.
The town. I mean, Ava knows that the town of Sun Tree was actually named for a tree, and it is a big tree. It is one suitable for teleportation by plants. So they arranged for Rizwin's friend in Druidcraft to.
Right.
The plan.
Yep. But yeah, it sounds like their idea of getting through as quick as possible is about all we can do. I don't know what. I mean, they were iffy about calling us entertainers. Don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, they said passers through, didn't they?
Well, passers-by through, yeah.
So I guess they're not encouraging anybody flashy.
They're anti-fun jerks.
Sound like it.
They're probably they're probably curtailing quote unquote unnecessary travel.
I think it's probably that may be how they're justifying it, but I don't think that's why.
Well, no, but I'm saying that's probably what they're saying.
But Hazel, in a way, is right. What kind of stories do you usually tell, Darwin? Stories of heroism and
You lose the inspiration, you lose the light, and the people lose theirs.
The morale.
It's part of the reason why I'm so happy in a way of being favored, because I can bring Bahamut to places that need it, and Baronsphere sure as hell does.
yeah.
But that's also the same. That's another. You bring the light of the stories, and yeah. So
You've just got to look a mix of pain and disgust and not happy can.
well, that's why we're going to the Elven Wilds. Bleh, excuse me. I'll get that right sooner or later. I'll get that right sooner or later.
Singular.
Shoot.
Elven Wild.
Wild. Thank you.
Yes, it is a single country.
Thank you. That helps.
We're gonna fix this.
We will eject the anti-fund.
And more to the point, we'll, as Darwin says, bring a little light as and when we can. I mean, we sure as hell cheered up the lumberfolk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they were quiet, but they didn't seem somber or more. They didn't. There wasn't the depressed
I think there
feeling
was
to it all.
A little bit at first, but they cheered up right quick when we
Yeah.
started doing our bit.
Mm-hmm.
And after we rectified the kitchen debacle.
Let's hope they do shake some sense into that Donovan dude. That place could be rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the beating may have slapped the stupid out of him.
A good bit of it, at least.
I
I think
mean,
any more beating and he wouldn't be breathing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, can confirm.
Let's hope that it wouldn't have taken more beating to bring out all the stupid, because that would mean he'd still have stupid in him until the day he dies.
What was that? I don't know where I don't even remember where exactly I heard this, but don't weep for the stupid, you'll be crying all day.
Okay. I'm not weeping, I'm just shaking my head in disbelief, really.
There.
It just doesn't make sense though. Why? You had plenty of perfectly good meat. Why use this poor dog?
Saving him money.
and yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't seem like there's much travel going on, which means there's probably not a whole lot of movement of goods.
Probably isn't any good boar or venison around after all.
He doesn't look like the type who hunts it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face
Yeah.
it, great. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Gray's Inn.
That's livestock capital. And
Yep.
what's going on over there?
Yep.
It got sat on by a great flapping handbag.
And the only other place they could get it is Goldendale. Which doesn't
Which is
have
also in a bit of a...
well, it doesn't have enough to be a cash crop, as it were, anyway.
Yeah. That's more of a we sustain Baronsphere so Baronsphere can pinball goods everywhere.
Yeah, we really got to deal with Black Dragon asshole.
God, handbags must go. The handbags must go.
Yes, Hazel.
For the record, I'm really sorry I got her stuck on that.
It's alright.
It's an evocative image, I will say that much.
It starts to lose impetus with repetition, though.
This is true. So, Hazel, take note, please.
Got it.
Thank you.
Keep it the appropriate amount of insulting beat.
Or at least change it up.
Yeah, there's
I've got
other
one. Blasphemy lizard.
I think you're probably going to want to save that one for the day that we encounter one of those made of your black shit.
Oh boy.
Fair point.
And I
I'll
thought
come up with something.
and I thought the previous vision was bad. Well, thought was bad.
Leave us hope we can get it before it gets that far.
Yeah. Because the we don't need another ball of seaweed and evil.
I think there's probably more to the ooze than seaweed. I mean, Ree's seen it in places far from sea as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I just figure I don't want the equivalent to that in wherever we end up.
Mm-hmm. And we already know that it's been found underground.
We're going to have to deal with Cragveer at some point too. Great. One thing at a time.
Yep.
I'm gonna check it. No, I don't have my family anywhere other than the sword I left with Jenna, right?
Nope.
Yeah, just checking.
And you've got a couple of things that are more in the colors of your house, but those could be anything.
Right.
On that note, we're approaching that time, so we will say that the somewhat reduced number Cupcake Coterie find themselves a clearing in the woods and set up tent for the night. And when we come back in 2 weeks' time, hopefully with everyone, or at least most of us, when people don't turn up on the day, not telling us that they have miserable rotten colds, we will proceed to Suntree and hopefully find out a little more what's going on in Cedargrove before passing on to the Elven Wild. See you guys in 2 weeks.